Hello, dear listener, and welcome. As the gentle hush of the evening settles around you, let us embark on a tranquil journey together, a quiet exploration into the intricate tapestry of human connection and the silent currents that shape our shared existence. Tonight, we turn our gaze inward and outward to ponder the beautiful, profound field of social psychology. Imagine, if you will, the world as a vast, shimmering ocean. Each of us, a unique wave, rising and falling with our own distinct rhythm. Yet, we are never truly alone. The movements of one wave ripple outwards, touching, influencing, and being influenced by countless others. This interconnectedness, this subtle dance of presence, is precisely what social psychology seeks to understand. At its very heart, social psychology is the methodical study, a gentle, patient inquiry into how our deepest thoughts, our fleeting feelings, and our most observable behaviors are subtly, yet profoundly, influenced by the actual, the imagined, or even the simply implied presence of others. Take a moment to let that sink in. The actual presence, like sitting across from a loved one, or navigating a bustling street. The imagined presence, perhaps thinking about what a dear friend would say, or anticipating the judgment of someone you admire. And the implied presence, the unspoken rules of a society, the cultural norms we absorb from the air we breathe, the architecture of our institutions that whisper expectations into our very beings. Each of these presences, tangible or ethereal, weaves itself into the fabric of who we are and how we act. While some related fields, like sociology, might zoom out to view the grand sweeping patterns of entire societies, social psychology, particularly what we call psychological social psychology, chooses a different, more intimate lens. It places its gentle emphasis on you, the individual. It asks, how does this vast, complex social structure, this intricate web of culture that surrounds us, gently, or sometimes not so gently, imprint itself upon your unique outcomes? How does it shape the contours of your personality, the nuances of your behavior, and even your quiet, often unacknowledged, position within the myriad social hierarchies we all navigate? It's a focus on the delicate interplay between the vastness of the social world and the singular, precious experience of your own self. Social psychologists, in their quiet contemplation and rigorous inquiry, often explain human behavior not as a solitary act, but as a graceful, intricate dance resulting from the profound relationship between our internal mental states, those whispers in our minds, those stirrings in our hearts, and the dynamic social situations in which we find ourselves. They are curious explorers, studying the very social conditions under which our thoughts, our feelings, and our behaviors emerge, unfold, and evolve. And with a deep sense of wonder, they observe how these myriad variables, from the warmth of a smile to the coldness of a formal rule, subtly, yet powerfully, influence the delicate ebb and flow of our social interactions. It's like watching a complex, ever-changing ballet, where every movement, every gaze, every unspoken signal, contributes to the overall narrative. Now, let us drift back in time, allowing our minds to gently trace the origins of this fascinating field. Like a quiet stream gradually finding its course, social psychology began to emerge from the larger, venerable field of psychology in the 19th century. In those days, many thoughtful psychologists were deeply concerned, often with a profound sense of purpose, with developing concrete, tangible explanations for the vast and often mysterious different aspects of human nature. They weren't content with mere philosophical musings. They yearned for something more. They yearned to discover those elegant, almost hidden, cause and effect relationships that could illuminate and explain the often perplexing intricacies of our social interactions. Imagine the intellectual climate of the time. There was a burgeoning excitement for scientific discovery, a belief that even the most intangible aspects of existence could, with careful observation and meticulous experimentation, be brought into the light of understanding. So, with a pioneering spirit, these early thinkers dared to apply the rigorous, disciplined methodology of the scientific method to something as fluid, as elusive, as human behavior itself. It was a revolutionary step, a gentle turning point, moving from mere speculation to empirical investigation. One of the very first documented studies, a quiet ripple in the nascent field, was conducted by a researcher named Norman Triplett in the year 1898. He was captivated by a phenomenon we now call social facilitation. Picture this: a person performing a task, perhaps winding fishing reels, alone in a quiet room. And then, the same person, performing the same task, but with another person nearby, perhaps not even competing, but simply present. Triplett observed a fascinating pattern. The presence of another often seemed to subtly enhance performance. It's a gentle reminder of how deeply, almost unconsciously, we are attuned to those around us. These early, seemingly simple psychological experiments, like Triplett's, were not just isolated curiosities. They were foundational stones, laying the groundwork for much of the rich and complex social psychological findings that would blossom throughout the 20th century. They taught us that even in the pursuit of scientific understanding, there is a quiet beauty in observing the seemingly mundane. As the calendar pages turned, and the world entered the vibrant, dynamic era of the 20th century, social psychology continued its gentle evolution. According to the insightful observations of Wolfgang Stroebe, modern social psychology truly began to find its distinct voice and form in 1924, with the publication of a foundational textbook by Floyd Allport. This seminal work gently, yet firmly, defined the field not merely as a study, but specifically as the experimental study of social behavior. This marked a profound commitment to empirical investigation, to testing hypotheses, and to understanding the social world through controlled observation, much like a botanist meticulously studying the growth of a rare plant. In the early decades of this century, an immensely influential research program was quietly established by the brilliant Kurt Lewin and his dedicated students. Lewin, a profound thinker, brought an innovative approach, often focusing on how social situations and individual perceptions combine to create our subjective realities. Though the provided text doesn't detail his specific theories, his influence speaks to a rich tradition of understanding dynamic group processes and the individual's experience within them, always emphasizing the holistic picture. Then, as the shadow of World War II stretched across the globe, social psychology found itself called upon in a very different, and perhaps more urgent, capacity. During these tumultuous years, social psychologists were largely concerned with studies of persuasion and propaganda. Their insights were sought by the U.S. military, particularly in the realm of psychological warfare, to understand how to influence minds and shape public opinion. It was a time when the power of understanding human influence became critically important, though it carried with it a weighty ethical consideration: how to use this knowledge responsibly, for the greater good, even in times of conflict. But as the war receded, and the world began its slow, often painful, process of healing and rebuilding, the focus of social psychologists gently shifted. Researchers, now keenly aware of the fragility of human societies, became deeply interested in a variety of pressing social problems. Issues of gender and racial prejudice, for instance, became central to their inquiries. The societal wounds of discrimination and inequality cried out for understanding. And the concept of social stigma, that profound disapproval or discrimination against individuals based on perceived differences, whether of race, gender, ability, or belief, became increasingly prevalent as societies grappled with redefining their norms and drawing new, often more inclusive, group boundaries after the profound upheaval of the war. It was a period of collective introspection, where the very foundations of human coexistence were being re-examined. In the immediate aftermath of World War II, there was a beautiful, synergistic period of frequent collaboration between psychologists and sociologists. Imagine two rivers flowing side by side, their waters mingling, each enriching the other. Psychologists, with their focus on the individual mind, and sociologists, with their gaze on the grand societal structures, found common ground in understanding human behavior within its social context. However, as often happens in the journey of knowledge, these two distinct disciplines have, in more recent years, become increasingly specialized and somewhat isolated from each other. Sociologists have generally chosen to focus their energy on high-level, large-scale examinations of society as a whole, observing the sweeping currents and tides. Psychologists, on the other hand, have typically narrowed their focus to more small-scale, intimate studies of individual human behaviors, akin to examining the intricate patterns within a single wave. Both approaches offer invaluable insights, like different lenses revealing different facets of the same magnificent gem. As the 1960s unfurled, a vibrant decade of change and introspection, there was a palpable surge of interest in new and captivating topics within social psychology. Concepts like cognitive dissonance emerged, exploring the discomfort we feel when our beliefs clash with our actions, or when two of our beliefs contradict each other. Imagine holding two opposing ideas in your mind, the subtle tension, the quiet unease. Researchers also delved into the perplexing phenomenon of bystander intervention, asking why individuals sometimes fail to help someone in distress when others are present. The silent questions of responsibility, empathy, and collective inaction became compelling subjects of study. And of course, the complex, often challenging, topic of aggression also drew significant attention. These intellectual developments were accompanied by a methodological trend towards increasingly sophisticated laboratory experiments. Picture carefully designed scenarios, often involving eager college students as participants, with researchers employing advanced statistical tools like analysis of variance designs to precisely measure the subtle effects of social variables. It was a time of rigorous inquiry, seeking to bring clarity to the complexities of human interaction. Yet, as with any field striving for deeper understanding, the 1970s brought with it a period of conceptual challenges and thoughtful self-reflection within social psychology. Important questions began to surface, stirring the academic waters. There were ethical concerns raised about the very nature of laboratory experimentation. Were researchers always treating participants with the utmost care and respect? Doubts emerged about whether attitudes, those learned evaluations we discussed earlier, could truly and accurately predict specific behaviors in the messy, unpredictable real world. And a deeper, more philosophical question arose: to what extent could science, traditionally seen as universal, truly be done in a cultural vacuum? How much was our understanding shaped by the specific cultural context in which it was formed? It was also in this introspective period that situationism emerged, a theory suggesting that human behavior is far more fluid than previously thought, changing dramatically based on factors. This posed a gentle, yet profound, challenge to the long-held relevance of the self and personality in psychology, forcing researchers to ponder the delicate balance between who we are internally and how we respond to the world around us. But social psychology, like a resilient organism, adapted and evolved. By the 1980s and 1990s, the field had diligently developed a number of thoughtful solutions to these pressing issues, both in terms of refining its theories and enhancing its methodologies. It was a period of integration, where the challenges were not seen as weaknesses, but as opportunities for growth, leading to a more nuanced, robust, and ethically grounded approach to understanding the social human. As we gently arrive in the present, the vibrant landscape of the 21st century, social psychology continues its fascinating journey. Today, Ethical standards regulate research with a vigilance and care that reflect a profound respect for every individual participant. And significantly, pluralistic and multicultural perspectives have beautifully emerged, enriching the social sciences. This means a recognition that human experience is not monolithic, that understanding must encompass the vast, diverse tapestry of cultures, beliefs, and ways of being across our globe. It's an embrace of the rich mosaic of humanity. Most modern researchers in this century are deeply interested in phenomena that touch upon the very core of our daily lives. They explore attribution, how we explain the causes of our own behavior and that of others, that inner storyteller constantly making sense of events. They delve into social cognition, the subtle mental processes by which we perceive, interpret, and remember information about the social world. And they are captivated by the intricate concept of self-concept, how we come to understand and define who we are in relation to others and the world. These are the quiet mechanisms that shape our every interaction, our every perception. The recent global experience of the COVID-19 pandemic offered a poignant, real-world crucible for social psychologists. In this unprecedented time, they intently examined the profound effects of social isolation, the pervasive ripple of fear, and the challenging spread of misinformation on collective behavior. They observed how entire societies responded, how trust was built or eroded, and how individuals navigated a world suddenly turned upside down. Research also focused, with empathy and urgency, on how pandemic-related stress subtly, yet significantly, affected mental health and the delicate threads of social cohesion. It was a stark reminder of the fundamental human need for connection and belonging. Beyond pure research, social psychologists are, in addition, deeply concerned with applied psychology. This means they are not content merely to observe and understand, but also to contribute their invaluable insights towards practical applications of social psychology in many crucial areas of life. From promoting health behaviors and designing more effective educational strategies, to informing legal processes and creating more harmonious and productive workplaces, their understanding of human social dynamics is gently woven into the fabric of a better, more compassionate, and more effective world. It's a testament to the idea that knowledge, thoughtfully applied, can truly make a difference in countless lives. Now, let us turn our attention to one of the fundamental concepts that underpins much of social psychology, a concept that is both simple in its essence and profoundly complex in its implications: attitudes. In social psychology, an attitude is understood as a learned, global evaluation that possesses a quiet, yet powerful, influence on both our thought processes and our actions. Imagine it as a deeply ingrained tendency, a predisposition, to respond in a certain way to people, objects, ideas, or situations. Attitudes are, at their most base, and perhaps most human level, expressions of our approval or disapproval, our deep-seated likes and dislikes. Think of the simple pleasure you might derive from enjoying a specific flavor of chocolate ice cream. That's an attitude, a positive evaluation. Or consider the thoughtful endorsement you might feel towards the values of a particular political party. That, too, is an attitude, a complex constellation of evaluations. These are the inner compass points that guide us, often without us even consciously realizing it. They are the quiet filters through which we perceive and interact with the world around us. However, and this is where the nuance and richness of social psychology truly come into play, it is important to remember a profound insight. Because people are inherently influenced by a multitude of factors in any given situation, our general attitudes are not always perfect, straightforward predictors of our specific behaviors. This is a crucial distinction, a gentle reminder of the beautiful complexity of human nature. Let's gently explore this idea with an example provided in the text. Imagine a person who holds a very strong, general attitude that they deeply value the environment. They truly believe in conservation, in sustainability, in protecting our planet. This is a heartfelt, deeply held attitude. Yet, on a particular day, that same individual might find themselves in a situation where they have a plastic bottle in their hand, and they might, for a specific and perhaps fleeting reason, choose not to recycle it. Perhaps they are running late for an important meeting, and the recycling bin is out of their way. Perhaps they are feeling overwhelmed and simply overlook it. Or maybe, just maybe, the sheer inconvenience of the moment outweighs, just for that instant, the broader, more general value. This example beautifully illustrates how specific factors on a given day, things like immediate convenience, time constraints, emotional state, or even the subtle presence of others, can momentarily override even our most deeply cherished general attitudes. It teaches us that human behavior is not a simple, linear equation, but rather a dynamic interplay of many forces, an intricate dance between our internal compass and the external winds that blow around us. Our attitudes are like the deep currents in the ocean, strong and influential, but surface winds and tides can still create ripples and waves that move in different directions, at least for a time. The study of attitudes, then, is not just about identifying what people like or dislike. It's about understanding the formation of these evaluations. Where do they come from? How do they develop from childhood experiences, from cultural immersion, from the people we interact with? It's about exploring their strength. How deeply ingrained are they? How resistant are they to change? And most fascinatingly, it's about unraveling that delicate, often complex, relationship between what we feel and believe in our hearts, and what we actually do in the tangible world. It's a profound inquiry into the very nature of consistency and contradiction within the human spirit. As we continue our slow and steady journey through the landscape of social psychology, you might find yourself reflecting on your own attitudes, your own actions, and the subtle influences that shape your thoughts and feelings each day. How often do you find your behavior aligning perfectly with your deeply held beliefs? And when it doesn't, what are those subtle, quiet factors that gently steer you off course, even for a moment? There is no judgment here, only a quiet, compassionate curiosity, a deeper understanding of the human condition in all its beautiful complexity. This gentle exploration of social psychology is a reminder that we are all, every one of us, participants in a vast, ongoing social experiment. Each interaction, each shared glance, each unspoken rule, contributes to the rich tapestry of human experience. And by understanding these subtle dynamics, by appreciating the profound influence of the actual, imagined, or implied presence of others, we can foster a deeper sense of empathy, a greater appreciation for the diverse ways in which we are all shaped, and a more compassionate understanding of ourselves and those around us. As the night deepens, and your mind gently unwinds, may these thoughts settle softly within you. May they bring a sense of peaceful contemplation, a quiet wonder at the intricate, beautiful dance of human connection. Sleep well, dear listener, and may your dreams be filled with a gentle understanding of the social world that surrounds you, and the unique place you hold within it. Good night.